So one more video in the HSP series that I decided I wanted to create is to help you determine if your child maybe is a highly sensitive person. And maybe you've been already watching some of these videos, but maybe this is the first video that you're seeing. And I'm basing this entirely on my own personal experience being a highly sensitive child and what my mom and my dad had to go through in sort of figuring out what I needed and what I had to go through in determining what I needed. And it was a journey for all of us. But some of the signs that were, now I can look back and be like, well, that was really obvious. But at the time it wasn't, is that I really didn't like having my hair brushed. It hurt me when somebody else brushed my hair, because if there was any knots, like any pulling, it just was excruciating. But of course, if I'm brushing my own hair, I can regulate that, right? Like I could sense when that was happening. Also, for my teeth, any kind of cold water would really hurt my teeth. I didn't like the tags on the back of clothes, and I didn't like 3/4 length sleeves. That was like a whole big thing. Like I was just like, nope, it has to be like this very specific length or this very specific length, because if it would hit my skin at like some weird angle, it just felt really uncomfortable. It's very sensitive to different fabrics. So, there's certain outfits, yeah, they're cute, but like if they're uncomfortable, get it off of me, right? Like that's just really important. Any kind of loud noises, I'd get very startled and very jarred, like sometimes cry, like just really it was just like it wasn't fun, to be startled or surprised. It was like this whole horrific experience inside of me and just complete like flood of overwhelm. Any kind of lights would just be really, really blinding. Any loud noises would just be really intense. So just any of those senses, just like really, really heightened. Same things with smells, being able to tell the difference between different smells. And so just like particularity. So if your child is kind of particular or, like things like, oh, I don't like that, or like just pay attention to that, right? Because like they may just be like really uncomfortable. They may just be like, this is actually like very bad for my world, very bad for my nervous system, because it doesn't feel good in my experience. And so these are some of the things that I experienced. There were also emotional meltdowns for sure. And I think part of it just had to do with not understanding like what the emotions were in my body. I mean, most of us are not taught this anyway until way later when we start doing self-development work as an adult, right? Which is what happened for me. It would be so great if emotions were taught in schools, right? But, and maybe they will be, maybe that's happening. And so emotions can be a very overstimulating experience, right? Like, what is this heat? What is this anger? I don't know what to do with it. Or what is this sorrow and despair that's just ripping me apart, right? What is this joy? Like, how do I fully embody this and express this? I mean, and just anything on the emotional spectrum is like a very intense experience for a highly sensitive person. I think I can only speak for myself as a highly sensitive person, but having talked to other highly sensitive people, we concur. And what else? Let's see. So, and I also think, this is my personal opinion, I really think that any kind of emotional meltdown has to do with, obviously, maybe the inability to process emotions or, fully be able to process through that energy. And also just highly being overstimulated, and just like your senses are on like full alert to begin with, and then they've been pushed over the edge and it's just too much. It's like all circuits get blown and it's just meltdown time. I know that crowds always were a big thing for me, and they still are. I mean, I understand this now, so I kind of avoid them or manage myself better in them. So like a lot of people, a lot of energy bombardment, any jostling, by the way, ugh, yuck. Like I just really hate it when people, like they kind of like walk past you and they jostle your body. But to me, it's not like, oh, that's annoying. It's like full system, like, ugh, like I feel it everywhere. So all those kinds of things. So I think definitely playing soothing music for your child and helping them determine what feels good. You can, determine based on reaction. Don't force them to wear clothes that they really just don't want to wear. It's probably not a style choice. It is probably just a comfort thing. Like really, it's a comfort thing. So maybe having them touch different fabrics, and not just with their hands here, but like, they have to wear it, because there's certain, I think, so because there's certain fabrics where like, if I'm touching with my hand, I'm like, oh, that's soft. But then the minute I try it on my whole body, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so itchy or stiff, or like, just can't handle it, right? So different skin areas are sensitive in different ways. So it's important to realize that as well. Regulating temperature is important. Different children will run hot or cold, and that's just like a thing anyway with people. But just paying attention to all the senses and the environment, because I mean, if you think about a plant, right? This is the classic metaphor, but I'm gonna use it anyway, or analogy or whatever. A plant will thrive when it's placed in the right area, where it has the right amount of shade or sunlight or water or whatever it is that it needs, which is gonna be totally different than a different plant, right? Some thrive in shade, some in sun. You know, some need more watering, some really just like that's too much for them, like it's overwatering, right? It's the same with people. For all of us in all ways, right? And in this particular case, it is the same with highly sensitive people. We need specific environment in order to thrive. And it's not going to be the same as everybody else. And that's just really important to remember. So yeah, you may wish that you or your child, and probably it runs the family is my guess, but that you and your child is like, you know, like I really wish I could just wear anything and, you know, just like smell anything and use whatever products and just like, you know, have this easy life or whatever, right? Because I used to think all these things. I'm just like, oh, like, why does it take so much to just maintain my basic sense of equilibrium? But it does, right? Like, and now I'm just like, these are my normal products that I use now. And this, I carry my earplugs with me, and I need a certain amount of music and a certain amount of silence. And these are the things that don't belong in my world, because these are the things that jar me. And I'm going to educate everybody on what works and doesn't for me. And hopefully they'll play along, you know, if they do in fact care and believe me, right? And so far they have, you know, everyone's doing the best they can. So just paying attention to the signs and then just acknowledging it and doing your best to create a supportive environment for both yourself and your child in which to thrive, and just following whatever those nuances are. There are a lot of amazing benefits with being a highly sensitive person. You're going to notice things that other people don't really notice. You'll be able to feel into the energy and situations that other people may not be so attuned to. And that actually can really help other people get to know themselves better. There's been things that I've been able to pick up on, and then when I've been comfortable enough to share it, because that was a skill I built in and of itself, it's helped other people tremendously in being able to understand themselves and what they need. So it can be a really gift, not just for yourself, but for other people too. And for me, I feel, and this is just me, but I feel like I have a heightened sense of beauty. I have a great sense, at least for myself, right? Of like, you know, what really nourishes me? What are the things? And I want to be surrounded by beauty, and, you know, in all ways, right? I want to have luxurious fabrics and tastes and smells and be surrounded by beautiful things so that my eyes are just unbelievably delighted, listen to the most amazing sounds, and just like nourish myself in all of these ways. And it's because of my sensitivity that I've become really attuned to what works and what doesn't, paid more attention to it because I basically just had to if I wanted to have any semblance of a normal existence for myself. But what I've done is I've taken to a heightened level and just really enjoyed what that has been able to bring into my life and how it's been able to help others as well. So hopefully this has been helpful. And if you have any other comments or questions, you know, about your own HSP experience or your child's, feel free to post in the comments below. I'm not like an HSP expert. I am not a child psychologist by any means, but I was a highly sensitive child on my own, and now I'm a highly sensitive adult. So I got the firsthand experience, and that's what I'm sharing here. And I think that firsthand experience from all of us is really valuable, because that's how we are better to understand our inner worlds and each other's. So be highly sensitive, be yourself, enjoy it, embrace it, and I'll see you in the next video, whatever that topic may be.